Dive into the debate. Can James Gunn's Superman reboot prove Spielberg wrong about superhero fatigue? The future of capes might just depend on it. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. A decade ago, Steven Spielberg, the guy who gave us sharks, dinosaurs, and aliens with glowing fingers, dropped a bold prediction, as per AP News. We were around when the Western died, and there will be a time when the superhero movie goes the way of the Western. At the time, it sounded wild. Avengers, Age of Ultron was smashing the box office, and Civil War, Deadpool, and Batman v Superman were waiting in the wings. The genre wasn't just alive, it was in full blockbuster overdrive. When Steven Spielberg, a true Hollywood legend and the director's director, dropped a hot take about superhero flicks, it sent shockwaves through Tinseltown and Comic-Con crowds alike. His prediction: that cape and cowl stories would go the way of the Western genre, fading into the cinematic sunset as just another trend that had its moment. But guess what? Superheroes didn't ride off into obscurity, they took over the damn multiplex. And your living room. And your TikTok feed. From streaming smashes and billion-dollar box office runs to Comic-Con cosplay, roller coasters, and even college courses breaking down multiversal metaphors. So yeah, the superhero saga isn't rolling credits anytime soon. It's just entering its next epic phase. The thing is, superhero flicks didn't become just another trend, they turned into modern mythology. They evolved, adapted, and conquered everything from theaters to theme parks to think pieces in college classrooms. But now, there's a noticeable wobble in the cape. But Spielberg's point wasn't about what's hot now, it was about the Hollywood playbook. Every genre, no matter how superpowered, has an expiration date. He wasn't throwing shade, he was speaking from the director's chair of experience. The man behind E.T., Jaws, and Jurassic Park knows a thing or two about the boom and bust rhythm of pop culture. But don't hang up your capes just yet, superhero diehards. James Gunn is stepping into the director's chair with Superman, flying into theaters July 11, 2025, and he's aiming to flip the script on all that superhero fatigue talk. The early buzz. Fans are digging the trailers, hyping up the vibe, the visuals, and a Supes who feels less like a god and more like the guy you'd want watching your dog while you're out of town. In 2023, for the first time in over 20 years, the top 3 movies at the box office weren't sequels or reboots. Barbie, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Oppenheimer took the crown. The last time that happened, 2001. That's a whole cinematic lifetime ago. So yeah, maybe Spielberg wasn't wrong. Maybe the cycle is turning. The genre isn't dead, but the once invincible superhero machine might be showing signs of fatigue. And Hollywood, it's always ready for the next act. But did Steven Spielberg miss the superhero genre? So while Spielberg's end of an era call might still be echoing through Hollywood, Gunn's Superman might just prove the genre's not dying, it's evolving. Again. Gunn's take dials in on heart, humanity, and good old-fashioned character depth, the kind of stuff that sticks longer than CGI explosions. Whether this movie rewrites the genre rulebook or just gives it a much-needed recharge, one thing's clear: Superman could be the shot of adrenaline that caped crusaders need. James Gunn made a key change to the new Superman trailer after fan feedback, proving he listens, unlike Zack Snyder. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. When the first Superman teaser dropped, fans were excited, but it was not without critique. One particular moment from the teaser sparked a wave of online buzz. A scene where someone throws a can at David Corenswet's Superman, and instead of simply walking it off like the true invincible hero he is, Superman visibly blinks, or in other words, he flinches. The new Superman trailer is out, and if there is one thing to take away, it's that James Gunn just gets it. From the first few seconds in, it already feels hopeful, exciting, and moving. There is something refreshing and different about this take on the Man of Steel, and the fans are all in for it. The new trailer feels familiar yet bold, and still carries the emotional weight without being too heavy-handed, and is filled with exactly the kind of vibe DC fans have been chasing for a while. It was a step in a different direction from the usual dark and eerie tone Zack Snyder brings, whether it's the brighter tone, the hopeful energy, or the careful attention to iconic details. The best part about the trailer definitely has to be the fact that, unlike Zack Snyder, James Gunn actually listens to his fans and made an important change in the trailer that made a lot of fans happy. Gunn is not only paying attention to fan feedback, but is willing to act on it, and this is not something we get to see in the movie scene. The last notable change to a character on popular fan demand was the change to Sonic the Hedgehog. This change made fans feel more inclusive to the movie, and it looks like we will be getting a movie from someone who actually likes to keep things genuine. Now, for fans who have been following the comics and are deeply rooted in the DC lore, they were not happy to see this minute detail being messed up. Fans argued Superman flinching was an insane undersell to his legendary status, and were quick to take it to social media, filled with memes, criticism, and side-by-side comparisons to past versions of the character who wouldn't flinch under fire, so flinching at the soda can did not make sense, unless it was made of kryptonite. But after the teaser was released, and a sweet amount of time passed, we got the new teaser on May 14th, and to the surprise of many, James Gunn took the feedback seriously. In the full trailer released recently, that same scene has been slightly adjusted, and this time, David Corenswet, who is playing Superman, does not flinch. This was a subtle change, but it left the jaws of fans on the floor. James Gunn's new Superman trailer is already making waves, racking up over 2 million views in its first hour and emerging as one of DC and Warner Bros.' most well-received trailers yet, only adding to the growing excitement among fans. The viewers cannot get enough of the blend of action, emotional depth, and a fresh take on the Man of Steel. Even the fact that many see a similarity between David Corenswet and the legend Christopher Reeve cannot be ignored. The instance in the movie where Clark Kent is getting interviewed by Lois Lane, and as he is getting frustrated with her questions, you can see him seemingly transitioning from Kent to Superman, really adds to the whole vibe of the movie. With a hint of the original score, the movie is shaping up to be legendary, and the trailer is only adding to the anticipation of the movie. Superman might be James Gunn's first step into the new DCU, but the DC Extended Universe casts a large shadow in its latest trailer. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Be it Superman being framed against the sun, or the character having to go through human red tape to do even the most basic of world-saving activities, Superman from the DCU seems like a rehash of what fans have seen in the DCU. Apart from the character's demeanor, which is overall pretty different from his previous iterations, there seem to be a lot of similarities in the visual languages of Superman and Man of Steel. When looking at fan reactions to James Gunn's Superman, it was evident that the general consensus for the upcoming film was that it is a return to form. There has been a lot of comparison between the Man of Steel that Zack Snyder had chiseled for the DCU and the Superman that James Gunn will be putting on screen in July. However, one cannot help but look at the similarities that are present visually in the trailer, which harken back to how Zack Snyder had framed Henry Cavill's iteration of the character. As different as David Corenswet plays Superman when compared to Henry Cavill, Snyder's fingerprints are all over Superman. Superman, much like his previous counterpart, seems to be caught in litigation for doing what he does best, saving people. The line of